this one? Is this the, oh, this is the good one. All right, well, welcome. I just want, first of all, to say thank you for coming into our space. If this is your first time, we are so excited to have you. If it's your second or 10th time, we are so excited to be supporting you as part of the entrepreneurial ecosystem. I'm Brian Maynor. I'm the president of Startup Sioux Falls. We have been open in downtown for a little over 2 weeks now. And it's been a journey. It's been a thrill to be a part of this journey. And there's so many people in this room that we have a lot to thank for. And I just appreciate all of the support. Just to kind of recap the day, today is Founders Day. And what Founders Day means is about 10 years ago, there was a group of passionate individuals that wanted to continue to build upon the entrepreneurial community here in town. And they found an opportunity through a program called 1 Million Cups. And the anniversary of the implementation of 1 Million Cups is on the first Wednesday of March. So because of that, the mayor, our Mayor Paul Tenhaken, has declared this day Founders Day. It used to be Entrepreneurship Day. Now it's Founders Day. We're trying to make it simple. So you'll expect something every first Wednesday of March. And this year just happened to coincide with the opening of the space. And as we were going through a tremendous amount of change, we also said, well, maybe we should blow up 1 million cups too. So we did. And it's not going away. So basically what we're doing is we're just being more intentional about how we're serving and who we're serving. So every month you can expect 2 different events. One's going to happen in the morning, one in the afternoon, the first and the third Wednesdays of the month. This is convoluted, I realize, but bear with me. So every month we'll focus on a different industry vertical or topic, and we will bring in an industry expert for that first Wednesday who will come in and talk about their experience. And then the third Wednesday, we will have a startup come in and talk about it from their lens. And the intent and purpose here is to mix individuals. We aren't just here to talk to startups. We want our business community, our pillars, all of our ecosystem partners to be a part of the conversation because they're an important part of it. If we're not talking to each other, we're not growing, we're not learning. And we have so much to learn from each other. There's so much brain power in this room right now, and we need community. Founders need community. We can't do this alone. You're working in your basements. You've been working out of coffee shops. We went through a pandemic together. We need each other. So please use this space. This space is for community. It's for everyone in some way, shape, or form. And if you don't know how to plug in, talk to one of our staff members, talk to me, talk to one of our board members. There's a few in the room tonight. We just want to move the needle forward for business and community relationships here in the city, economic development. It all relates. It's all circular. So please just come be a part of our community in whatever capacity you can. We had a great discussion this morning. So we have Jose Alfaro with us, who's the CEO of CO.STARTERS, which is our marquee accelerator program, which was literally a game changer for this community, I have to say. We did not have that continuity that we needed. We have a lot of great resources, but we didn't have that thing that kind of gelled everything together. And now I feel like CO.STARTERS is the Kleenex of the ecosystem. People have come to associate our organization with this wonderful program. And since then, we've been awarded a $1 million grant through the SBA to help support underserved communities across the state. So this thing has blown up really fast. We've served over 200 individuals through the program, and we've had facilitators just donate their time to us, their time, their talent, their treasure. A mentor network has been born out of this process as well, where we have individuals in this community that are like, I want to plug in, I want to support small businesses and entrepreneurs, but I don't know how. So that's something that we do well as an organization. We are a wayfinding organization that can help connect you with the resources. We might not have all the answers, but we know somebody who does. So that's why we say start with Startup Sioux Falls. There are a ton of people to thank, like I mentioned. This was a Herculean effort. When it comes to the actual physical facility, I'd have to talk for about 10 minutes to thank all the people that were involved. But it speaks to the spirit of entrepreneurship and small business, that we come together and we think about the greater good of the city before we think about our own vested interests, and that's what makes this community so special. And I do have to give a shout out to Matt Paulson and Market Beat, because they're the ones that got us off on the right foot. So thank you Thank you. Yes, he deserves a huge round of applause. I keep saying it, but the dude puts his money where his mouth is in the best way possible, and he has been along for this ride from the beginning since I've been involved with the organization. So I'm so grateful for all that you've done and the movement that you've created. Look where we are now. There are a ton of people in this room. Like I said, I want to thank you all, but I don't have time. There's going to be some thank yous up on the screen here. If we can show all of our sponsors, there's an incredible group of people. And I have to say also, people are not just putting their money where their mouth is, they're getting involved. Like they want to be mentors. They want to figure out how we can move this city forward. So I'm so appreciative of the support, both monetarily, but also just the time that you spend with individuals. We had the mayor in here yesterday meeting with a small business owner. That's how passionate this community is. We will come together and we will get it done. The next slide, I think, is a list of all of our donors, which is even longer. And the cool thing I want to point out here is that it's not just the people that you would think, even though they're on the board as well. We also have incubator businesses that started out of the Zeal Center for Entrepreneurship that are now giving back to the organization. It's so beautiful. We've been around long enough that those individuals are now philanthropists themselves. They have the capital to reinvest in this community, and we just want to keep that going. So with that, I don't want to take any more time because we've got a great panel up here today. Jose's joining us. He's in town. He came to visit us from a warmer place, and we apologize for the weather, but I've gotten to know Jose, and I consider him a friend. I'm excited to join his advisory panel here soon. And we love that you brag about our city so much on social media. Thank you so much. So I'm going to let you take it away, and excited to hear more.
Great, awesome. Well, today is not about me, but it's about the graduates here of Co.STARTERS. So like Brianne was saying, you guys have supported over 200 ventures here. So you get to hear from 4 of them today. So really quick, let's just go down the line and just share your name and your business and what you love most about Sioux Falls.
Hello, my name is Lucero Rodea. I'm from Mexico, and my venture is the original corn pie. What's the most I like from Sioux Falls is the community, the kindness of people here who have been keeping us motivated to stay focused on what we need to do and achieve in this place.
My name is Nate Boskeljohn. My wife and I own Boskeljohn Design Company. It's a woodworking company. We build custom furniture made to order. I grew up in this area, so I just have convinced my wife to not move. So.
Hello, I am Kendra Sersosimo with Kendra Sersosimo Creative, and I work with businesses to elevate their brands through graphic design and social media services. And my favorite part of Sioux Falls, I think, is as an entrepreneur, it's the resources, and it's definitely the community as well.
Hi, my name's Amy Pocola, and my business is called AMPO, and I provide philanthropy solutions for nonprofits. I grew up within walking distance of this building, so I definitely have been part of growing up and being around downtown Sioux Falls, and I'd say my favorite part about it is just the way that it's grown up. I'm very proud of my city, and I'm very proud of the way that it has grown up and has evolved during my lifetime.
Awesome. All right, so throughout the panel, if you have a question, I'll make sure that we have some time towards the end, so don't forget your questions so you can ask. And for you guys, don't feel like you have to answer it, but if you want to, go ahead and answer if you have a few questions. I like to make these very conversational. Just get to know the person. You know, I think a lot of times we want to prepare, say it the right way. The only right way is the authentic way. That's what I really believe. So my first question to start everything is, you know, why did you guys want to start your venture, right? That's a huge risk to leave a stable job, I guess we can call that, you know? Like why did you decide to start your venture?
Okay, the main reason of why we decided to start this venture is because of the need to find an income as a family, since we are from Mexico and a hard experience with crime brought us here 4 years ago. So we thought that opening a new business here will help us to be sustainable in a new country. And we thought that bringing authenticity with the Mexican flavors will help to offer different options in Sioux Falls. And this place is being a place that is potentially growing, and that's the main reason. And the great supporters that you can find here to grow a business. That's the main reason.
I guess our venture kind of came by accident. Initially, we were just making furniture for ourselves because we were poor college grads and couldn't afford actual furniture. And so we made it ourselves. And then other people saw the furniture that we made and started asking us if we could, where we got it. And then we had to tell them we made it. And so then people started asking us, could we make them some? And at the time, I was a financial advisor, and I figured since I was selling stuff to strangers that I should probably start collecting sales tax, so I wasn't in the Argus about tax fraud. So I did an LLC, and that's truly why, the only reason I opened an LLC. It eventually got much bigger, and we were making actual money. Was still in finance at that point, and we had so much orders on our plate that we had to either start saying no to the orders or quit our full-time jobs. And so we decided to leave our full-time jobs, and we've been doing it full-time for 2 years now. So
Mine's a fairly similar story. I didn't think this was a dream job until it became my job, but I started it in 2020 during the pandemic, partially out of fear of losing a full-time job and then partially out of boredom. And kind of similarly, it became all my nights, all my weekends, and I kind of took the leap of faith and made it my full-time job. And it's been my full-time job for over 1.5 years now, and yeah, it's offered me the freedom of time, freedom to work with clients that I want to work with and that I feel really passionate about. So that's kind of been my reason for starting it.
For me, it got to the point where I feel like I'd worked in this industry for a really long time, decades, and I had this knowledge, and I had this vision for how things could be done a different way. And when I would go talk to people in like my structure of my business, they would kind of laugh at me and be like, yep, that's great, we're not doing that. And then I'd go talk to other businesses in the community about like, oh, maybe I should make a job change. And if I came and worked for you, we could do something like this. And then they'd kind of pat me on the head and be like, no. And I really got sick of people telling me no. And I really got sick of people just being like, nope, this is the way that it's done. And again, like I had this knowledge and I had this vision and I just wanted to do it. And I told Brienne during a podcast, so I'm going to kind of use that line again, that when I decided to do it, I don't know that I really put a lot of thought into it or asked a lot of advice. I know that I announced it to my husband. I didn't like ask him. So I just kind of like one day I was like, I'm doing this. And he's like, I hope it works. So,
Similar story.
yeah.
So as you hear, like people start ventures for different reasons, and I think a lot of you can maybe relate with that. Part of bringing your culture to a community, you know, our culture is home, is what we call home, right? So anytime you go visit anywhere else, you want a little bit of what you have at home. And so, and for others, it's just a need, and started growing, and you can't say no. So, right? And then for somebody else, it's like the belief that they have a solution to a problem. And so I love what you all have been saying. Okay, so now let's get into some real stuff, right? Starting a business is not easy, right? If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. We are making it easy or practical with processes and systems and places to help you. But as you guys were getting started, what do you feel, or do you, at this moment, looking back, or are experiencing is the hardest part of building your venture and trying to grow your business?
For me and for my business was about connections and confidence. And I mean confidence in all areas. Confidence with my thoughts and trying to stay positive, and no matter how difficult the things I had to face, and no matter what I need to do to achieve my goals, and being part of this organization and CO.STARTERS program help us to find the right connections to grow my business, and we are still learning, and we are still in need of so many resources for my small business, but we are working on it with love and perseverance.
Yeah, I would say this a similar thing, that confidence. I think everyone, imposter syndrome is a real thing for most people, especially when you're in business for yourself. So that's probably the hardest thing to internally get over as far as like an internal mental health thing. But like tactically, it was a really big pain to do my LLC paperwork because I had no idea what I was doing. I was mostly just sending paperwork to the state and hoping that I got paperwork back that said it was good. So that was the first pain that I had in actual business. I think the second pain was finding others that were in the same business as me. And because of that, I had a hard time finding supplies for the business that I was in outside of like Menards and Home Depot. So those were like the nitty-gritty things that were actually pretty hard.
Yeah, my main challenges when kind of shifting into it being from a side business to a full-time business was I had only ever had corporate jobs, and every family member I have, every friend I have, all have corporate jobs. And so trying to flip that mindset from, okay, my paycheck is coming every other Friday, my health insurance is coming through my employer. I think trying to figure out, okay, how do I do taxes this way? How do I get health insurance? And where's this paycheck coming from? But those were kind of the challenges that I had to face to really make this business feel sustainable for the long run.
I would say that the biggest challenge is like businesses in this town that have 600 thousands of employees. Like you still have to do all of the things that those businesses do. So I was my own IT guy yesterday, and I'm not good at that. And like you guys said, like the insurance, the things like that, like every single thing that comes up, you're like, in my old job, I had a team of people that I managed. So something came up and we had a meeting about it and we talked about it and somebody else did it. I was like, that's awesome. Like I'll encourage you. We'll talk about it more. So it was that idea of going from like a manager role again back into being an individual contributor as well. That was a challenge, but now just not even being an individual contributor on like what my knowledge is and what my training is and what my aptitude is, but it was being a contributor for every single department in the business that I worked for before. So it's managing all of that.
I love that. I love how you guys didn't go straight into like funding and clients and all that. It went to confidence, kind of your own personal relationship with your business. So with that, I want to ask the next question, a little bit more specific than like from your experience and how you got started, like what helps you continue to move that forward, right? And so, yes, you're the IT person and you probably want to throw your computer across the room. But like, how do you not quit? How do you just continue to do it? Because if it's a personal confidence, there's something that motivates you. And so maybe you guys can talk about how the community can support you, or how you personally just overcame that, and how have you overcome to start to continue to build and grow that venture?
Okay. Let me think. Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do it. I would say the reason why I don't quit is because I'm competitive AF. So there's no way that I'm going to like admit that my knowledge and vision won't work. So so there's that piece of it. And then I would say the motivating factors is like the community around as well. And then also my best friend owns her own business, and we talk a billion times a day. Sometimes we just like have the phone on speaker while we're both working, like we're sitting next to each other at our desks. And so that's super helpful as well. But it's like, it's finding that network of people, mentors, collaborators, just all of that, just all of those folks that can help you to get it done.
I want to go a little bit deeper into that one question. So you talked about helping others motivate you and continue to that. Just going a little bit deeper, like what is it about those conversations that you have with your friend that motivate you, like that continue to push you forward?
Because I don't want to have a real job again.
See, there's the truth.
So, yeah, like I really like this, so I really want this to work. But all of that to be said, it's also just the way that I'm wired, I'm curious. And so I have a natural curiosity about things. And so when I have those conversations, when I'm really like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And I'm here and I hear a conversation that's going on, I get a chance to talk to somebody. It just sparks like something again in my psyche that just like, gives me the energy of like, okay, I want to figure this out. And that's what keeps me motivated, is because I want to figure this out. I really, truly want to figure this out.
For me, to think about what I want to achieve in my life, what are the goals that I have with my business, and sorry. I need to say that I have been experienced a loss of memory for the last 3 months, and that's why I'm just rethinking what I want to say. Okay. And let me just come back. Yes,
You want me to repeat the question?
yes. No, that's fine. And to recognize that each business story is different of mine, and each person has, all people has a possibility to succeed, but each person has different expectations, and each of us face on different ways about fears, and I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, I need to think.
No, you're good.
Sorry. And emotions are, for me, are the greatest and hardest to control. And when you are trying to grow a business, if you can get control of those emotions, you can succeed more easily. That's what I believe in.
I would say the two like organizations that I felt like helped me the most is what is going to seem like the cliche answer to say Co.STARTERS, but I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Is Co.STARTERS, and so that's one organization I was in the midst of making this decision to go full time or not. The other organization was Leaders of Tomorrow through Think 3D. So both of these organizations either consulted me with their resources or gave me to other people to consult with to basically boost my confidence. I knew I wanted to do my business. That wasn't a question. It was just talking to enough people that said, I think you can too. So that was the biggest thing that kind of pushed me off the cliff to say, we're going to try this. If it fails, I can just go get another job. It's not that big of a deal. It's kind of what made me take the leap. So.
And my answer is similar to what's already been said, but I thoroughly enjoy my job. I enjoy the work that I do and the clients that I get to work with. And so I think waking up every day, having a business that I'm proud of and that I want it to succeed, and just that gives me the motivation to do the learning that I need to do, go find the resources that I need to find, and then also just being able to bounce ideas off of other like-minded entrepreneurs has really been very valuable.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to ask it two-sided, so you guys can answer it together however you want to. So I usually say each city has something special. So in your guys' opinion, what makes Sioux Falls the best place, in your opinion, to start a business, right? Like, and it could be the resources. What are those resources? But like, there's a reason why you started your business here. And you may live here, but I think there's more to it, right? There's a lot of founders that move because there's opportunities, right? Tulsa was giving $10,000 for anybody that wanted to move out there and create a business, right? There's all these grants out there from different cities to do that. But you decided to stay and build here in Sioux Falls. So beyond maybe just family, personal things, like why do you guys believe Sioux Falls is just a unique place to start a business?
Want me to start? Sure. You can start. So the first year of my business, since I am a fully remote business, was spent traveling. And so I kind of traveled the United States, went out of the country a few different times, and just worked fully remote. Then I participated in the CO.STARTERS program. So when I wasn't traveling, I went back to my hometown of Mitchell, which is where I partook in the CO.STARTERS program. And so I would say, so for over a year, that's where basically I was kind of all over the U.S. And it was kind of one of those things where if I don't have to be somewhere, I don't know where I want to be. And so that was kind of a learning experience. And, you know, it was amazing to see these places and to visit different cities and see different cultures and things like that. At the same time, entrepreneurship is pretty lonely, especially for a one-person business. And so that's where, you know, after that full year, I don't regret any of it, but it was also time to find a spot to settle down, and that's ultimately what drew me back to Sioux Falls, is the community. Like I said, I love Startup Sioux Falls for that reason, is because I found the community. I mean, I've only been back in Sioux Falls since October, and so I have met so many people and gotten so many resources to help really flourish my business and feel like a business owner. And I think that's been a key piece for my business and for myself personally and my mental health.
I would say for me, I think it's the access to people is, I think, what makes Sioux Falls good. You know, there's these like what seem like big, massive businesses with people who run them that seem like they might be inaccessible. Like Carla Santi's in the room. She owns a business that I would have originally thought there's no way I'm gonna be able to get coffee with her, and so but I have, and our mayor, I feel like, is super accessible. I feel like that everybody's accessible. There's not a person in Sioux Falls that I feel like is inaccessible, and so I think that's what makes the community very connected, very resourceful. Is that I don't think a lot of communities have that same thing.
As I mentioned before, Sioux Falls is growing quickly, and the community is great support for us. And of course, there are so many programs you can get professional support for new businesses. And for us, we decided to make Sioux Falls our new home, so that's why.
I mean, my reason is kind of the same as what everyone has said already, which is I feel like Sioux Falls is like the right size. So there's enough going on here that that you can, that you can access what you need, but you can get to it. And so like that whole idea of like that anyone's kind of accessible to have coffee with, that kind of a thing. You don't know everyone, but there's a way that you can, there's no such thing as 6 degrees of separation in Sioux Falls. It's 2. And so like you just have to like find that.
I haven't met the mayor yet, so.
Well, yeah, we'll take care of that. Probably still later tonight. So, that just makes it, like, things feel really accessible. So my sister and her wife are moving back to Sioux Falls in June, and I am so excited. They're moving from New York, and I am so excited for them to start tapping into this community, because I described to them like how entrepreneur, like what it's like here if you want to start a business or anything like that, and they just look at me like I'm talking about like Oz. Like they just, like it's like this, they're like, what do you mean you can like talk to that person? And I'm like, oh, ladies, like just wait until you get here and see what this community has to offer. Like it's just amazing.
How many of you guys have heard the kind of the booming story of Austin, right? I'm guessing a lot of you guys, Chattanooga, a lot of what they're saying is at the heartbeat of those cities, where individuals, anyone, could connect with anyone. And that's what made that special, right? And so as you hear them talk about having accessibility to entrepreneurs, seasoned entrepreneurs, all types of entrepreneurs, policymakers, traditional economic development organizations, programming, that's what makes an entrepreneur ecosystem special, because you have all those resources. How do you connect them? That's the big piece, is making those connections. And so I hear a lot of accessibility, resources, support. That's human connection. That's not just a landing page with, here's how you start a business, right? And we need those. I had to make a correction this morning. It's like, we need those. But you still need a human person to connect that and have those conversations and have those questions. So I love that you guys shared that. And I just want to encourage you as a city. That's really special. You guys are building and creating and cultivating and nurturing something really unique and special. Just be patient. It's coming. It's there, right? So awesome. All right. So I think I have one more question, then I'll give it up to the group to see if they have any questions. Startup Sioux Falls, co-starters, it's synonymous. I don't know that I'm going to use the Kleenex. I think Kleenex, I'm like, the mucus, and I'm like, But I get what you're saying. So because they're synonymous, they're kind of together. What would you say co-starters or Startup Sioux Falls helped you? What was the biggest takeaway in the program or the mentorship that you took away as you're starting or growing your business? Does that question make sense? Let me say it a different way. Yeah, what was your biggest takeaway of the programming or the mentorship that you got from Startup Sioux Falls or co-starters?
My business wouldn't exist without co-starters. So co-starters started in what? When did we start? Beginning of August? Is that when our session started? Yeah, end of July, beginning of August. And at the end of August, I was in an accident and broke my leg, broke my ankle, had surgery, was like in my house for 2 months. And like, that's not exactly how they advise you to start a business. And so I would have just thrown in the towel if it wouldn't have been for co-starters and having like a structure of like, okay, so you're at home, but here are the things that you need, that you need to be working on when you're at home. And so I would have just collapsed. Additionally, like everyone has their skills and everyone has their like, things that you wouldn't apply for a job doing. And like, I'm not going to apply for a job accounting or doing finances. And so co-starters really helped me to provide a structure and guidance on like how to set that initial budget. I would have never had an initial budget because I would have just been like, oh, I'm going to wing it. That's not really my thing. Like, we'll figure it out. And so from that standpoint, it provided it provided me with structure. It provided me with like just so much structure and framework to help me keep going at a point when statistically speaking, I should not be sitting here.
Yeah, I went through the Co-Starters program a year full-time into my business, and so it was really an opportunity to look back at the foundation that I had set. And similarly, I don't have a business degree. I have a couple degrees, but nothing that taught me anything about business. And it really allowed me to learn the ins and outs of it. But I also think what really was helpful was the guest speaker each week, and just really learning from, here's an accountant from our community, ask them any question you want, and knowing that no question is a dumb question. And I think my takeaway was that these resources are right in our cities. I mean, it was in Mitchell, it's here in Sioux Falls, and that people genuinely want to help you. It's just seeking those people out and asking the questions.
I would say for me, the content is always good, but it's the connections that I feel like I took away from Co-Stars. A specific example was when I was done with it, I was paired with Corey and Mary over at the Breaks Coffee as mentors, and I think it just gave me the confidence to see a husband-wife couple just kind of doing their thing. I looked at them as very successful. When I actually got to sit down with them, I realized that they were a lot more human than I was painting them as, and could relate with them a lot more than I thought I was going to be able to. And so I feel like it gave me the confidence to tell my wife to quit her job, for me to tell myself to quit my job, and do it because we saw a couple doing it in the community. So that's probably the biggest takeaway.
Like came full circle. It started with a lack of confidence, but then did it because you were full of confidence.
Right, right.
For me, the most important was the connections and confidence again. Because when I decided to open a business, it was because of a need. But when I was part of CO.STARTERS, it was like an explosion for me, because I thought, okay, I can't do business just on the way that I think it is correct. I need to get more knowledge about how to grow the business, how to connect people and connect with the community. And all the resources gave to me confidence for my business, and for sure connections. And that's how I'm working right now to grow my business.
I love it. Great. All right. Well, we have a few minutes, so when I give it to the audience to see if you guys have any question, I'll bring the microphone to you. Any questions? Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. But let's go back here, and then I'll come see you.
For the late people in the group, could you reiterate what your businesses are?
All right. So yeah, just quick name and name of business, and yeah, what your business is.
My business is the original corn pie, and I have already opened a new business to support this business. It is Infinite Cleaning. That's my page.
My name is Nate Boskeljohn. I own Boskeljohn Design Company, a furniture making company, woodworking.
I'm Kendra Sersasmo. I own Kendra Sersasmo Creative, and I do graphic design and social media services for businesses.
My name is Amy Pokola, and I own AMPO, and it provides philanthropy solutions for nonprofits.
Hi guys, James Gasper with Interstate Office Products. Thank you for being here today. You've all kind of touched on you're at different stages of life, family situation, things like that. How has your family situation at home influenced your decision making in taking the leap of faith to start your business?
I'm a senior mom, so I will probably cry when I give the answer. So that's your preface for that. You asked the question. So when I was thinking about the next chapter of my life, in the next chapter of my kids' lives, I realized that one of the things that I really wanted was to be present. I've always wanted to be present in their lives. And as they start their next journey, I want the freedom to be able to be present wherever they are. And this gives me that ability to be the kind of mom that I want to continue to be.
Mine's a little different. I have no spouse, no kids, and so that was part of the excitement of being able to have a fully remote business and travel. And now it's kind of also one of those things where in the back of my mind it's prepping me for someday when I do have kids, when I do have a...
Could I maybe ask, like, how do you do more self-care for you and decisions making for you? So, like, obviously you have a lot of freedom, and you know, a 9-to-5 job can, you know, still being single can give you a lot of freedom, but maybe putting it on the angle, like, how do you care for yourself now that you're a business owner, since, you know, you're not responsible to anyone. That's how I feel like I am. I'm responsible to my kids.
That's fair. I think it's prioritizing what brings me joy. I think it's less of, okay, I just worked an 8 to 5 and I'm tired and I'm stressed out and I want to go home to nothing, where I think now I can make my own schedule. I can prioritize the things that I enjoy doing. So I am, you know, all of a sudden in a pickleball league, and you know, it's like I didn't even know how to play pickleball.
That's,
you know,
that's what I hear. Just have fun all day long.
I mean, I don't want to say that, but it's like finding my happiness has been really prioritized in owning my own business, which sounds somewhat cliche, but it's true.
Yeah, I would say oddly the same thing. I was reading off the questions that we were going to be asked today to my wife at home, just to kind of like more or less have a conversation, and to kind of to this question of like, why did we do this business, was and her response was to choose happiness. And so we were in a similar situation where you know, we would wake up, go to work, come home, eat supper, go to bed, and rinse and repeat. And there wasn't much outside of that, and we knew we wanted a lot more. We thought we wanted to like level up in the corporate world and make as much money as possible, buy the biggest house possible, like do that sort of stuff, because that's what we thought we were told to do. And then we realized that we were in this cycle of never ending, you know, wake up, go to job, eat supper, go to bed. And so we realized that that wasn't worth it for us anymore. Like our happiness and our peace was worth a lot more than we were getting paid at our job. So we're like, you know, we're not doing this anymore. So
For me, as I mentioned before, we didn't have another choice, and so we lost everything in Mexico for a hard experience with crime. So we needed to do something to survive here, and yes, we decided to open a business to own it instead to be employed, and so we can figure out how to divide my time with my little son, and I have the support from my husband, and that's the reason.
Yes.
So good to hear all of your stories. I'm inspired by each one of you. My name's Terry Liggins. I am heading into my 4th year as a founder. And being in that 4th year, I still find myself feeling discouraged at times. And one of the things I find that's helpful is how I talk to myself. So I'd be curious, like in your journey as a founder, when you are facing discouragement, what are the messages you're telling yourself? Can we get some examples of how you talk to yourself to keep yourself motivated and going as a founder?
Okay. I think that's a good question, and I think I'm still learning more and more. For me, I think the more that I get out and the more that I go to YPN events, go to chamber events, go to Startup Sioux Falls events, the more confidence I feel in, oh yeah, I actually somewhat know what I'm talking about as a business owner, but also it feels less like I'm faking it and more like I actually feel confident in what I'm doing, as opposed to being at home, working at my home office by myself all the time and being in my own head. That being said, I think it's also, you know, learning my personality type has been big, and learning how to react with that. But also, I'm going to also mention therapy, and I think it's been huge for mental health as well.
Okay. So there's really two things. Like it's kind of a weird thing, but when I look in my calendar and when I look at my email and I'm like, dude, like people are emailing you at this email address for this business that you made. And like even that is like just such a crazy thing to think about, that you're like, this thing didn't exist and now people email you there. And and your calendar is like full. Like some days you're like, this is too full. And like this thing that didn't, you know, so that I feel like that's really inspiring. Like I find inspiration in that. Also, like I can't say it enough about my spouse. Like you know, my husband, when I decided to do this, I said, like, I announced it to him, which is true, but also I know that he has picked up more business to offset the fact that my salary is not there. I didn't leave like a nothing salary behind. And so, you know, that I understand that within the economics of our family, and I know that he has made significant sacrifice to make this happen for me. And I can't understate that, and I can't like talk like my appreciation of that. Mm-hmm.
So I love those examples. But what I'm hoping for is like, what do you tell yourself? Like when you say, I'm ready to quit, I'm ready to stop. What do you tell yourself? Like, I am what?
I mean, mine includes curse words, so I don't really
That's
know that I
fine.
can say it.
It's fine.
Sorry, my answer was way off.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's just so important that we can encourage ourselves. It's great to have encouragement around you, but we are the loudest voice in our own heads. And I think so many people can relate to that inner critic. So I'm curious to you panelists, being there as our examples, what are you telling yourself when the inner critic sprouts up? What do you tell that inner critic? You say, you know what? I am, for me, sometimes it's a finisher. I'm going to finish what I've started. And I got other things that I say too.
Maybe we'll just say
I know
that.
I know what mine is. It didn't. It doesn't start with this.
There's kids. Just
Yeah,
FYI.
there are kids, so I won't say it all. But having confidence in yourself and having that ability to walk into a room, whatever that room is, doesn't just begin with starting your own business. So there are things that you're already telling yourself, that you've been telling yourself since you were an awkward teenager, that give you the ability to move forward. And so like I have for decades looked myself in the mirror and been like, you're Amy Pocola and you're awesome. and that doesn't just start there. I mean, like I've been a fundraiser. Like you don't think that when you're going in to talk to someone about making a gift that you need a boost of confidence. Like I've looked in the rearview mirror many times and said that to myself. So. No one else is taking a microphone.
Yeah, just say, yeah, I am, and just finish the sentence.
So one of the tactics that we learned in Leaders Up Tomorrow is like this 5 minutes in your head strategy of you just take 5 minutes and literally sit with yourself in silence and see what comes up. Usually you're a jerk to yourself in those 5 minutes, like when you start and you realize how much of a jerk you are to yourself. And so one of the strategies that I've used is anytime I'm starting to recognize when I say something mean about myself, if I cut a piece of wood too short, I'm ready and willing to berate myself like nobody ever has, right? And so when that happens, I'm able to stop myself and say, that was mean. Let's think of something that could be true, that's could be equally as true, and let's have a conversation about like which one's more helpful here. Do you want to be a jerk to yourself, and is that the thing that's going to be helpful to like move us forward past this? And oftentimes the answer is no. And the good thing is and so I have more or less a conversation with myself in my head of like, one, stop being a jerk to yourself. Like, you would never be friends with the person that said these things to you. And so let's move with the good one. And so that process is really long when you start it, because you don't realize all the mean stuff you're saying to yourself until you start paying attention. But as you go through that kind of ring with yourself, it gets easier to find the positive, say, nope, that's false, this is true, let's go. So.
It's a hard question for me. I have been working this is true, to get control of my emotions. And I want to share that 3 months ago, I got sick, very sick, and doctors didn't find anything in my body. And finally, I recognized that it was stress for many things. And probably my body just has reactions to that emotions. So, and each person has a different story, and that's when I have been working right now with another options like meditation, and I will say that I'm a winner because I work every day to get the confidence I need to have, especially with the language barrier, even when I'm still learning. And yes, I'm a winner.
You want us? Are you sure?
We're good.
You sure?
I can't follow that.
Oh my, come on, yes you can. We got a winner. I want to give you one. We got a winner. We got therapy session. That's what I'm going to call it, therapy session.
I'll take it.
You do 2 therapies, all right, and then effing awesome, right? So we can use effing, right? Kids are fine with that. Awesome, guys. Give another round of applause to the panelists, right? Yeah. So Brianne's gonna come up, kind of tell us what we're gonna do. So don't go darting to the bar or food, whatever is more preferable. So I know that's a few things that I just want to say. Last few words, like, this is awesome. This is amazing. I want all of you. I know this sounds really, feely, touchy kind of stuff, but these are the things that we will remember. When I moved from Dallas to Chattanooga, I moved on a hunch. I lied. I'm not lying to you. I just literally said Chattanooga, and I was like, I didn't know what Chattanooga was. I was like, what is a Chattanooga? And it was a city. I was like, all right, packing everything up, and I go. And I went to a city, just like our 4 panelists here, that embraced me, loved me, cared for me, and allowed me to dream. And I am forever grateful for that experience. But also, when I left to go back to family, that Chattanooga community, the entrepreneurial community, told me all the stories that I gave to them. And so we hear stories where we say, we need to make a win-win situation, right? There's a book about the 7 practices of success or something like that, and it talks about win-win. And I'm like, no. It's give, right? Because win-win's still taking, right? And we got to learn how to receive, but it's a give. So remember this time. Remember these panelists. Say hi to them. Check in on them. Tell them who they are, right? And if they can't remember, tell them again until if they hear it over and over and over again. But also, that's who you guys are, right? This is the entrepreneurial community that I want you guys to be inspired. I said it last night. Was it last night? I think I said it to Jeff and Sarah. In my time of traveling, I don't know if I should say this publicly. In my time of traveling, there are only 2 cities that I've told my wife, I'm like, I would consider moving there. Sioux Falls is one of them. Yeah. So the other one, I probably should have said the other way. The other one is Liverpool in the UK. Right. So in the nation, Sioux Falls is that city. There's just a sense of connection, a sense of love, a sense of pride, right? You don't get this building, you don't get the programming, you don't get the leadership if there wasn't a sense of pride. So just want to encourage that for everybody who's here on Founders Day, and I'll pass it off to you. So.
So our next mission is to get Jose and his family to move to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And all of them. But honestly, that speaks to, there's more to a vibrant ecosystem than just supporting founders, which is really important. But it's a way to bolster workforce development. We want more good people in this city, and if we show them how vibrant we are and how connected we are and how efficient we are with those connections, they might just move here. So keep that in mind. It's another reason why you should be supporting this incredible community. Thank you all for being vulnerable today. I found it very interesting that we didn't really scratch the surface on business. We didn't talk about the business and the mechanics behind what you're doing. We talked about the fear, the emotion, getting in your own head. So if you can't inhibit that entrepreneurial mindset, you're not going to make it. And that's something that we're trying to do here too. We want people to understand what it takes. This is freaking hard, and it's not for everybody, and that's okay. And we want people to know that too. There are people that are going to come in here and we're going to be like, that's not a good idea. Have you done your research? We're going to hold you accountable. But you guys are doing the work, and we really appreciate that. Keep going. Keep talking to people. That's something we do in Co.STARTERS. Talk to your customer. Get an answer that don't go talk to your mom. Go talk to somebody who's going to tell it to you straight. And I think that's something we need to do more in this city. We need to be more honest with each other. We can do it and still be nice, but we need to be more direct. That's what I'm taking away from today. So thank you. And again, thank you all for being here. There is a bar. There's food in the other room, charcuterie board. And all we want to do now is just hang out, have some conversations, meet these folks, talk to them about their experience, talk to them about why this is important. The team is here. We're going to be here until at least 6:30. If it gets wild, I guess we'll see. But let's just hang out, celebrate. And again, thank you so much for being here. So.
I'm just going to say one thing as far as logistics go and introduce myself. If you don't know me, I'm Amos Bilo, the community coordinator here at Startup Sioux Falls. Just started in October, so I'm not going to pass up this chance to just say, hey, this is me. If you have any questions about memberships, conference rooms, rentals, I'm the guy you're going to be talking to. So nice to see all of you here. Thank you for coming. Please share the love of these events. We'll be putting on lots of events, and help us do a better job of marketing it too. If there's a different way that we can get the message out to different communities, different people that we haven't been able to talk to yet, please let us know how to do that, because we want to serve the entire community in and around Sioux Falls. And we can't do that without the support of all of you here. I wanted to let you know that you can move these chairs around just by scooting your butt. Move them however you'd like to move them for conversation. Turn the rows around, make little squares. Totally fine. Don't worry about helping with taking things down after the fact. We'll move it. Just make it comfortable for yourself. Feel free to sit up in the upper lounge area. Feel free to sit in the kitchen lounge area. We'll just keep the main co-working space locked off because there's personal property in there. But if any of you want a tour or want to walk through, please just find me, and I will walk you through the space. I'll be happy to do that. So thank you again. Enjoy the food. It's the best, cultivated in love. Severance Brewing is the brewing company just down the street on Phillips. So local businesses that we get to support by having events like this. So please enjoy yourselves. Thanks, guys.